Okay, today girls, as promised, we're going to be looking at curves in the drawings. As you can see here, there's two circles going on. In order to solve it, the only difference with this is you have to bring back the center point of the circle at 45 degrees as well. The same distance as what's given in the plan, 35. So you'll bring back the center back 35 and you'll redraw the same circle and then add the 45 degree lines in order to complete the drawing. I'm going to start the clock now. If we have time during class, we'll look at the letters CP. But if not, you can see that you'll bring back the centre at 45 degrees, measure the thickness of 30 from this question, and you'll get the inside of the C and the inside of the P the exact same way. But for the moment, we're going to be looking at the clock. Now, you have a picture of the clock, so you should be okay in actually drawing it all out. I am going to start off, like I always do, with a baseline. And I'm going to add the measurements from the question as that have been given. So we're starting off with our baseline. I'm just checking something. My sheet is a little bit off square, so I just want to change that now. Okay, so we're starting off with our baseline. And when we have our baseline done, we're going to do the measurements of it. It's a total of 170. And so I'm going to measure the 170 kind of to the left-hand side of the page, simply because if I do it too far to the right-hand side and I start bringing all the points back at 45 degrees, it won't fit on the page. So the measurements are 10, and then a 30, and then a 90, and then another 30, and then the final 10. With all of these, and actually that 90 is going to be split in two again for the center point of 45. So measured 45 for the center point. And with each of these, I just want to draw them vertically up to get our grid as you've seen before. Okay. Now that we have that, I'm going to do the vertical heights. And the vertical heights, it's an overall height of 85, so 30, 10, and 45. So measuring the 85. So it's divided up into 30, then 10, then 45, which we have. So transfer these all across your page. Great. Now that we have that, now we can actually get our heavy pencil and start putting in the clock in heavy. Okay, so on the side it comes up a distance of 30, heavy. This is working from left to right. And there's actually one other vertical line, that's it. So just this one over here on the right hand side. So the two outside points are at vertical lines. We then have a 45 degree line on both sides. Then we have horizontal lines, and we have to work from the top down for this, remember? So in until it touches the 90 millimeters in the center, and then the base. Okay, and now you can see I have a center point directly in the middle. With the center point, it is a compass you need to use in order to draw it. Now there's going to be kind of a semicircle and a full circle that need to be drawn. I'm just going to remind you how to use your compass on this. So you can see on the center, there's a circle there that has a radius of 30. And then you can see there's a radius of 45. So the 45 one is just a semicircle, whereas the other circle is a full circle. Okay, the radius of 30. Okay, so we're going to grab our compass and we're putting the heavy pencil in the compass. What's important with the compass is you don't have a situation like this that you tighten it and you can see the tip of the compass and the pencil are not in line. So that's not right. It's also not right to have it up too high that they're not in line either. So ideally, when you put the pencil in, they should be in line with each other as best as you can, and then you can tighten it. You will have difficulty if you have it either too low down or too high up, because when you put your compass, the pin of the compass on the center point and stretch it out to the edge, if it's too low down, the compass will be leaning back at an edge, and if it's too high up, you'll be forcing it down and you're not going to get the proper 45 millimeters on it. So I'm stretching it out to 45 mil, and I'm as you can see, I'm holding the compass down low just to give it that extra little bit of support. The top, I'm actually not twisting with the top. I'm twisting with my left hand on the bottom here. And then as I went around, you can see I moved my compass down low. And you've better control when you're holding the compass down low. So that's the 45mm semicircle. We then have a 30mm radius for a full circle in the center. So I'm using my compass and the set square at the same time. I'm putting my compass on the 0, stretching it out to the 30. I'm putting my compass directly on the center point again, the same center point, and do the exact same thing. We're drawing a full circle this time. Okay, so that is the whole elevation done. Now that we have that done, I'm going to be switching to my lighter pencil. And as you know with oblique, everything has to transfer back at 45 degrees. Now, obviously, points that are inside in the object that you try and bring back at 45 degrees, you can't draw them simply because you won't see them. So at the moment, I'm starting on the left-hand side and I'm bringing back the outside corner. What I said at the start of the video, you have to bring back the center point for this. And any corner of this object. Now, you will see from the actual plan of the question, so when you look at this is the elevation, and when you look at the plan, which is directly underneath, which you learned before, is 35mm. So pretty much on each of these lines, I need to have 35mm. I don't need to measure it like 4 different times. Once is nearly enough. I'm just going to measure the 35 on the outside line here. And I'm going to draw a light horizontal line all the way across my page. And you'll see why in a second. So when I did that horizontal line, with the first 45-degree line, I've got where it needs to stop. I've got where the 35 back is on the center line. I've got the 35 on this edge, and I've got the 35 on this flat edge. So I have that horizontal line. The only one I'm missing is parallel to this 45, so I'm going to do a 45, and it'll show me where it stops. And then I need a vertical line, and it finishes off the question, bar the semicircle. So with the semicircle, you pop your compass back in, and I'm lightly doing it with my heavy pencil, you can see. Okay, so I've lightly drawn a semicircle in. You don't need to do the inside circle because the inside circle isn't 3D. But essentially, if you draw a 45-degree line lightly out from the center of the circle and see where it touches on the outside curve and draw a 45-degree angle back at it, it shows you what part of the curve needs to be heavy. So I can now go back heavy on my curve in order to finish it off. So you can see I've that heavy. I can now then finish off the other lines at 45 degrees in heavy, and that will complete that for me as well. Okay, almost there. So vertical lines, so there's only one vertical line, one 45-degree, and then 2 horizontal little bits. Okay, and that completes the question. The tricky bits of this question was you had to bring back the center at the 45 degrees as well and measure the distance on it. So you could redraw the next curve. So that's new. The other new thing was, in order to get the curve 3D, from the center, go back at 45 degrees to see where it touches on the circle and translate that back at 45 degrees, because the curve isn't going to go all the way around again. Obviously, the cylinder or whatever that is on top, you can only see a portion of it. And I have the portion fully complete now. So you're going to join me live, and we'll be starting the letters CP. We'll be drawing the elevation of it, and then obviously we'll be doing the just the 3D on it, bringing all the points back at 45 degrees, which includes the center points. We mightn't get it completely finished during class, like with the live class, but you will continue it on to finish it off for classwork. Okay, and you can join me live now.